Hi, I'm Tasha with Pathways to Peace Counseling, and I wanted to do a quick little game review about this game that I picked up at Five Below a couple weeks ago. And it is called Protect the Dino. And it is basically a don't break the ice game. So you're going to have this little thing that you put together, and it has all of these little plastic pieces that are supposed to be the lava. And then it has little legs that it stands up on so that those pieces can fall as you knock them out. It comes with two hammers and a spinner, which you can use or skip it if you'd rather. And then a little dinosaur, and he goes on top of the centerpiece of the game. And so, what you would do is spin the wheel, and there's the skip the turn. This one is a choose any color. And then there's one, now they all look orange, but in my room, we call them red or yellow because it's either a reddish orange or a yellow orange. They're all orange. So this one was a you can knock out any piece. So I would just knock out a yellow one. And then the next person would go skip their turn. Then it would be my turn again. I'll knock out another yellow one. And then you just keep going until eventually, we'll skip the spinner from now on. So eventually you just keep knocking these out. And at some point, the dinosaur falls. So whoever makes the dinosaur fall would lose that round. And so pros about this game is it's very inexpensive, very accessible. So you can either find this one or you can find the traditional Don't Break the Ice game. And so easy in. And I have found there's different varieties of, prompts that you could use with Don't Break the Ice. But my feeling about using games in my therapy room is I don't want to have games that are there just to play just because. I want to have something that I have therapeutic value for it, where there's meaning behind what we do. Now, not to say I don't experiment with games now and then, but they don't get to stay in my office and have a home in my office if they don't really serve a purpose. And so, unfortunately, I've ditched a lot of games over the years. So, pros is that the kids really enjoy this game. It's a fun and engaging game. One of the cons is that it takes a long time to put all these little pieces back in. And I find that my older kids do a good job putting these back in, but my younger ones, like the 4 and 5 year olds, they struggle. I mean, some of them can kind of sort of get it, but I have to do all the heavy lifting with putting it back together. I would say with my 6 and 7 year olds, they're determined to do it themselves, some of them, and it can just take a long time. So in between rounds, it's kind of labor intensive. So that's really the only negative that I would give for this particular game. So I'm always looking for, with the games that I play, different metaphors or ways that we can use imagery or the design of the game to speak to an issue that we might be working on as one of our therapeutic goals. And so, one thing that stood out to me about this particular game is that every time you knock out one of these pieces, you're making it more and more unstable. And eventually, it starts to fall apart and everything starts crashing down. And so it's important for us to have a solid support system. And imagine this, all of these different pieces being different people involved in your life who are support figures. And they might be support figures in different ways. Some of them might be really close to you, some of them might be farther apart, some of them might be invested in your life on a daily basis. Others you might only see seasonally or maybe at holidays. But all of those people are like, it's like a web that holds you together, right? And so sometimes kids, as, so tell me if this sounds familiar. I work in an elementary school, so this is a common theme in my room of Sally made me mad at on the playground, so I told her that she's not going to be my friend anymore. And you know what that does? Sally's gone. One of your support figures is gone. And if you don't figure out how to reconcile that relationship, that hole might stay there forever. And then, so the next day, well, Jessica and I were having fun, but she decided to play with Sally. So now Jessica's not my friend anymore. Another support figure lost. So I mean, you can use these metaphors in different ways. Another thing is we're thinking about it as lava. and that lava is hot and that lava can do damage. And so if you run with that metaphor, you could take it in a lot of different ways. You could talk about like hot anger and how that might impact you and ways to cool that anger and bring it down under control. So the point that I'm making is that you can take a simple game like this, add a little bit of metaphor or a therapeutic spin on it, and then you can use it to target very specific things. But kids will be walking away with this imagery in their mind. And every time they tell Sally, I'm not your friend anymore, they're going to think about this. And they're going to think about, I just damaged my support system. And now I'm more unstable than I was before. And so it can really help be a reminder to make them intentional about the relationships. But like I said, I mean, you could use this imagery to mean 100 different things for different kids that you have, as long as you're creative enough to come up with some ideas. So tell me, what are your thoughts about this game? How do you play Don't Break the Ice in your therapy room? And what kind of metaphors have you come up with? And do you add in different questions and cards? Do you just play it for the fun of it? What kind of breakthroughs have you gotten with kids? I think that we can all learn from each other, and I would love to hear the feedback. Thanks for tuning in today, and don't forget to check out my website for all the great resources we have available. Got lots of books and games. We've got just creative ideas of ways to do all sorts of different things for therapists. I've got tons of ideas. So if you are lacking any kind of ideas for games or resources, be sure to check me out at pathwaystopeacecounseling.com.